Good morning and welcome to this week's business updates from the consulting room. So this week we've been looking at what's been going on, and the first thing to notice is we've now got a record number of vacancies in the marketplace. So over 1.1 million vacancies between July and September, the highest level since records began in 2001. So what does that mean? Well, with unemployment at approximately 4.5%, we now have more jobs per unemployed person than we've ever had on record, which is fantastic news. The challenge, as always, you can see there from the graph how it's grown to significant levels, and the challenge is always having the right people to fill the right jobs. So it's not just about having vacancies, it's having people with the skills and experience required to fill those jobs. So it's certainly a labour market that's on the up, but as I know a lot of people are finding, actually getting people to take their jobs is the real challenge. Probably unsurprisingly, accommodation, food services, professional activities and manufacturing are the areas where the majority of vacancies are. And obviously the issue about not being able to fill vacancies is it will start to stunt the growth of the economy, because if you don't have people in the jobs that you require, business does tend to slow down. So that's an issue. So think ahead. It's also a great opportunity to think about the long term, and can you actually hire the staff for tomorrow? So is there an opportunity there to grow your staff from bringing apprentices in? There's Kickstart programs, so there's lots of support out there to bring people in and actually train in the development into your roles and into your business. And as you can see at the bottom there, unemployment has fallen again. So we're seeing record numbers of people in employment, we're seeing more vacancies and unemployment falling, all of which is good news, but we do need to fill those vacancies so that we can kickstart all our businesses. I know it's not a news topic, but it is a really important one. Costs are continuing to rise, and therefore we need to ensure that our gross profit remains stable to make our business profitable. Obviously, if you're a huge corporate organisation like Kraft and Heinz, who will have contracts that stabilise their prices over a period of time, they're able to review their prices on almost an annual basis, because they'll have contracts that fix the pricing. But when they're starting to say prices are going up, consumers be aware, and we know that Pepsi and Nestle are already doing that. It's important for small businesses who essentially will get price rises coming from their suppliers on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, that you don't lose control of your gross profit and you don't find yourself losing money on the items that were profitable previously, and putting pressure on your business as a whole. So I know it's a difficult thing putting prices up. I know we're always concerned about consumer reaction, but we have to work out how we ensure that our gross profit remains stable in these difficult times. So either shop around for better prices or review your pricing. Your business can't survive without a solid gross profit foundation on everything you sell, whether it's a product or a service. So, quick question: when did you last look at your gross profit and calculate it? Okay. So there's been a lot of talk. We talked a few months ago about the new global tax regime, where 136 countries have now signed an agreement where the minimum tax charged on corporate entities would be 15%. Ireland, for example, is currently 12.5%, which is why you see some of the corporate behemoths in Ireland, so that they get the tax breaks that they bring. Now, this doesn't affect everybody. This affects large companies, global companies with 20 billion euro sales and profit margins above 10%. And actually, Oxfam don't think this is far enough. They would prefer the lowest rate to be at 23%. But I think what this is trying to do is to put pressure onto the bigger corporations to pay more tax, which brings them into line with SMEs, who historically don't have the same tax breaks and ability to move tax around. So hopefully in the long term, and this is never going to be a quick fix, we will start to see higher tax takes from the global companies, which does allow a more level playing field against some of the smaller businesses who are trying to compete in that area. And obviously tax and cost is not the only way to compete with big companies. We've talked about what is your difference in terms of point of difference and how do you differentiate yourself, and cost should not be the key one. However, the feeling that tax is being leveled out across the world will help small businesses to compete. So that is good news from that perspective. Do you have a retirement plan? As a small business owner, it's really important to ensure that your business is profitable for today, to understand what the long-term impacts on your business are. And what has recently come out is that they reckon the minimum amount for a pension to live on is now 10,900. Now that will go up with inflation, so wherever you are on your lifespan of where you expect to retire. But remember, retirement is now 66, 67 years of age, so this is looking into the future. Now the state pension is currently £9,339 a year, so there's a difference there. So there's nearly £1,600 difference between what the state are paying and what the estimates are saying it costs to actually retire. So do you have some form of savings plan? When you look at your business, do you put a pension away? Obviously businesses now have to have their own enrollment pension for employees, but have you got something for yourself as the business owner? Do you have something that will ensure that when you are at that point where you want to retire, are you building a business you can sell and therefore the profits of that will be your pension? Or are you running a lifestyle business where really it's about the time you have and how you work, which works for you now, but does that mean that you need to think about investing in a pension or other investment opportunities to ensure you have the money you need as a pension? So it goes back to long-term planning, strategic planning. It's not just about the now. We're all living longer, although that doesn't quite feel so at the moment, because there are some reports saying that our life expectancy is going backwards because of the pandemic, but I suspect we will be living longer by the time we grow into our 60s, 70s, and therefore we need to be able to have a standard of living that we want to have. And 10,900 is the minimum. So what do you want to retire on? How much money do you think you'll need to retire? And if you understand that and have that figure, how far away is that from 9,300? And therefore, what do you need to be doing to put yourselves into a place where you can actually retire comfortably? Is the internet fit for the 21st century? There's obviously a lot of talk last week about the outages of Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram. And actually, if you look over the last few years, there have been more and more outages and meltdowns by bigger companies, global companies. And this is really interesting because when you look at the way that the internet is constructed, it's not actually how it was designed. It was designed as this robust system that would survive nuclear attacks and all sorts of challenges. But actually, it was put together on a bit of a shoestring and based on the computers of its day. And therefore, it does have some inherent risks and issues, which are mainly about human interaction with it. So a lot of the issues that we see is about human error, making a mistake and putting the internet or the specific companies at risk. And the reason I raise this is the benefits, obviously, of somebody like Facebook having an outage for 6 hours and the 64 million pounds worth of drop in their value, as well as their income streams in that period, focuses the mind. So it will actually mean that they are looking at ways of improving the connectivity and the stability, because that's important to them. So there are some positives about these things, because the people with the money will be looking to improve it. But again, it goes back to, what does that mean for a small business? Have you got a contingency plan? Have you got a backup plan? I know there was great news that some kids actually came out of their bedrooms when WhatsApp and Instagram and Facebook failed. But actually, from a business point of view, how reliant are we on these social media companies, and what's your backup plan? How do you engage customers if there is a problem that's longer than a few hours? So what's your contingency or backup plan for your interaction with your consumers? So that's this week's update. Hopefully that's got you thinking, bit of interest, bit of information. Don't forget, we're running 3 consulting room free workshops. First one in a couple of weeks, next week actually, 21st at 9 a.m. 4 circles of business success. You can contact me direct for a place on that, or go to my Facebook page and register there. And there's my details. Hope you have a great week, and we'll see you soon. All the best.